Okay, this is Mwali, and this is your flip video on observations. So, observations are anything that you notice. Remember, we don't want it to require any thinking. We want you to be able to step back and see, and notice things for what they are and see the obvious sometimes. So, there are two different types of observations which produce two different types of data. So the first one is qualitative, and these are going to focus on the qualities of an object, descriptions, describing words, adjectives, those kind of things. So what you notice and how you would describe it. It can be the color of it, can be the size of it, can be the feel of it. So these, an easy way to remember this, so these are observations that you're going to use, that you're going to make using your five senses. So these are going to be things that you can see, they're going to be things that you can smell, that you can taste, touch, and hear. And all of these observations are valid when you're recording data. And the second way of making observations is quantitative. So I think that's the right amount of T's. Quantitative. So immediately we see the word quantity. Yeah, there we go. Quantitative. So obviously these are going to be observations that you make that require you to use numbers when you record them. So these can be made by either counting or measuring. So last week when we did our measurement labs, you didn't know it, but you were making quantitative observations which produce quantitative data. Hold on one second, I'm gonna get an eraser. I don't want to use my hand anymore. Okay, so we have quantitative and qualitative observations, and when we record those and they produce data, then we can use that data to share and compare. And so obviously the quantitative data is going to be much easier to look at and compare because it's numbers and measurements and there isn't as much gray area. The qualitative observations, we could all observe the same thing and we may all write something different because we're going to sense something different, we're going to see something differently, we're going to hear something different, and so those are a little bit harder to compare. So the quantitative observations are going to be easy to compare with someone else. So what I want you to do is the observations that you made today in class, I want you to try to group those into some categories, and whatever you see, break them down and make up some categories that those could fit under, as far as whether you made them by whether they were qualitative or quantitative, or you can break them down even further than that. All right.